Storm spotters and the National Weather Service. Again, if you're just tuning in, I want to get back to that tornado warning here, and that goes until 7:45, and it includes portions of Hancock, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. Right now, it does appear as if the line of storms is rolling towards Findlay, although the city of Findlay itself is not actively under that tornado warning. It is primarily a location south of Findlay in that bright magenta polygon. Within this line, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, as well as some circulation that could potentially cause a brief tornado. You need to get to that tornado shelter, especially if you live south of Findlay and Wyandotte and Seneca counties. This storm is still about 15 to 20 minutes away from you, so now is a great opportunity to get to that tornado shelter. It does not include Upper Sandusky or Tiffin, but far southwestern Seneca County and northwestern Wyandotte County is under that active weather alert. The current time is 7:14, and we're going to stay with you every step of the way until the threat has passed and that warning has expired, and it's set to go until 7:45. Now, we do have team coverage this evening along with meteorologist Kaylee Bowers, keeping a close eye on not only what we're seeing on Doppler radar, but also if we are seeing any storm reports. Now, Kaylee, tornado warnings are often characterized by either radar indicated or confirmed tornado warnings. Is this just a radar indicated warning, and are we seeing any reports as of now?
Yeah, John, in fact, let me show you exactly what we are looking at as far as this tornado warning goes. Again, if you are just tuning in, a tornado warning now in place for parts of Hancock, Seneca, and Wyandotte County. This is in place until 7:45 this evening. As far as this tag goes, we had about around 7:07 p.m. a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado near the Rawson or Bluffton area, just depending on where you are. Let me put this clock into motion and show you exactly what we're talking about with this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a radar loop from the past hours. You can see how quickly this storm pushing on through. So again, we're talking the potential for a tornado touching down in southern Hancock County, southwestern Seneca County, and northwestern Wyandotte County. Again, this is a potential tornado, no confirmed tornado just yet. This is just radar indicated as of now. So looking at this hour by hour, I want to zoom in and talk more about the velocity that we are looking at. So we're really focusing more so on these straight line wind gusts as well too. So as far as that velocity goes, which are these strong wind gusts, looks like it's not working at the moment, but of course, we're going to keep you posted as we continue to see this this tornado warning issue. But again, we have that severe thunderstorm watch in place as well too. So as far as those storm reports go, this is what we are looking at, and we have quite a few thunderstorm warnings. Also, that singular tornado warning as well too. So I do want to zoom in over towards the Putnam County area. You can see these little icons right here, the wind icons and those down tree icons. So thank you for everyone sending in those storm reports as well too, but we are still focusing on that tornado warning. Again, if you're in Findlay, you can see this warning is south. If you're traveling along I-75, maybe traveling over towards the Upper Sandusky area, over towards Tiffin area, not under that tornado warning as of now, but over 65 or 68, I-75, we are under that tornado warning as of now. Our biggest risk, these straight line winds, and we're also talking about some very heavy rain. So if you are traveling, or you know someone traveling, make sure that they are weather aware. So this isn't the only thing that we're watching. Zooming back out, look at this line moving on through, causing quite a bit of devastation off to our west from down trees, down power lines, some very heavy rain, some major flooding as well too, some quarter-size hail in some places. And of course, we have team coverage all throughout the night as this tornado warning is in effect for another about half an hour or so. We're going to stay on with you on WTOL 11 and also on WTOL 11 plus. So as far as these storm reports go, strong winds, heavy rain for sure, and also this potential for a brief spin of tornado. So if you are in Findlay, you are not in this tornado warning, but over towards the Tiffin area, Mount Blanchard, you need to be getting to your safe space right now as this line will be moving through your neighborhood. I mean, look at this in the matter of seconds. Let me highlight this right here. Mount Blanchard, Genera, Rawson, Dunkirk, Forest. Forest is just out of that line, but still be experiencing some very heavy rain and some very strong winds within the matter of moments. So the Cary area, quiet right now. You can see it's just off to your west as we are watching this single tornado warning in place for southern Hancock County, also southwestern Seneca County and northwestern Wyandotte County as well too. So I'm going to put this back into the radar loop as well too. John, any new information over on your side from National Weather Service or
so we're seeing some
else?
very strong wind gusts, Kaylee. We got a report of a 68-mile-an-hour wind gust at the Findlay Airport, so there will be some powerful straight line winds. The rotation that has prompted this warning is now to the south of the city of Findlay, where you see those greens and reds. In particular, near Arlington, you need to be in that tornado shelter. Mount Blanchard, you need to get to that interior space, preferably a basement, but away from doors and windows. That rotation near Arlington right now, and south of the city of Findlay is where that tornado warning is in effect. Now, the city of Findlay itself saw a wind gust close to 70 miles per hour, and obviously the straight line winds can pack a punch and cause damage as well. And this one is moving towards Cary. In fact, Cary has about 30 minutes to prepare for this storm as you are under this warning, and now is the time to get to that safe tornado shelter. Now, we're seeing the leading edge of this line approach Mount Blanchard. The winds are picking up, the skies are getting dark, and that is where there will be some rotation. So Mount Blanchard, please get to that interior room. Also, Cary needs to get to that tornado shelter. It's moving at about 60 miles an hour, so it's racing on through, moving very quickly, and the latest estimates do place this in Cary within the next 30 to 40 minutes or so. Again, that rotation currently situated near Arlington, and it's moving to the east-northeast at about a 60-mile-per-hour pace, so a very quick mover. We're keeping a close eye on velocity. Obviously not the best radar coverage in Hancock County, but it does appear as if that rotation is somewhere in the ballpark of Arlington and Mount Blanchard, where you see those red and green colors butting heads. This is south of the city of Findlay. This is south and east of Rawson, where that rotation is occurring, and it's pushing towards Wyandotte County and Seneca County as well. So locations like Van Loo need to be on high alert. Over towards Cary as well, stay on high weather alert as this storm approaches your neck of the woods. Now, elsewhere, there are still abundant severe weather alerts that are at play right now. We have severe thunderstorms stretching from Lenawee and Monroe County down into the metro and all the way towards Hancock County. As Kaylee pointed out, this is a radar indicated tornado warning with that rotation that occurred near Arlington. Seneca, Sandusky, Ottawa counties also under thunderstorm warnings, and that is primarily due to that strong straight line wind threat. Additionally, we have a severe thunderstorm watch shown by that pink color, and that continues until 10 o'clock p.m. as our weather impact alert day continues. That line of storms right now, it is now pushed to the east of Adrian. So Adrian, you likely just felt those winds. As far as the Toledo Metro goes, the western parts of Lucas County are really getting hammered by some gusty winds. Locations like Sylvania, Ottawa Hills, the winds are picking up as we head towards Wood County, the city of Bowling Green, right along the I-75 corridor. That is where the heaviest of those straight line winds are ongoing, and the chance for 60 to even 70 mile per hour winds will be evident. This line of storms stretching from central Michigan all the way down towards Cincinnati. Now, I do want to get back to that tornado warning for those who are just tuning in. This goes until 7:45 p.m. The current time is 7:21. We've been on air every step of the way with you as we monitor this one that is going to be heading towards the village of Cary. Currently, that rotation is in the vicinity of Mount Blanchard right now. I'm going to get over to velocity and show you the latest scan and see if we have any new data as radar continues to update us. Again, the city of Findlay, it is very windy. It is stormy, but you're not actively under that tornado warning. It is just to the south of Findlay, and the rotation that prompted this from the National Weather Service was located near Arlington and Mount Blanchard, and that's precisely the area that I am seeing a bit of rotation that is ongoing. You know, the radar coverage is not ideal down there, but based on the atmosphere at hand and the wind shear or the turning in the atmosphere today, this is an area of concern for sure, especially based on the latest radar scans. So over towards Mount Blanchard, you need to stay on high alert. Van Loo, Cary, this storm is headed in your direction. Now, Kaylee, we obviously have a lot of active warnings right now. This is the only tornado warning as of now, but there is still the potential that really at any point in this line of storms, there could be a brief notch or a kink in that line that does cause a little bit of rotation, Kaylee. Yeah,
John, and that's why we're here every step of the way. We're not going off the air until we are able to give the all clear. And like John mentioned, we are still seeing that we're seeing those severe thunderstorm warnings, but also that one tornado warning down in parts of Hancock, Seneca, and also into Wyandotte County. Now, if we can go ahead and pull up the iNet computer, we are also experiencing some power outages as well too. Just depends on where you are. The further north and west you are over towards the Pioneer area, Bryan, Hicksville, Defiance. Notice we're seeing about over 4,000, almost 5,000 people just in Ohio alone. So from our area all the way down towards the Delaware area, over towards Cleveland, experiencing those power outages. So of course, we're going to continue to monitor that. And it's not just us here in Northwest Ohio. Indiana was slammed earlier because of this line of storms. In fact, they have even more. They're about 200,000 people without power outages or without power for this evening. But let's focus a little bit closer to home, right? But a lot of people impacted from these strong showers and thunderstorms. If you are just tuning in, 7:24 right now on your Wednesday evening. We've cut into local programming because of this tornado warning, but also multiple severe thunderstorm warnings. Now, we can't give the all clear just yet because of that tornado warning, and also it'll be moving off to our east within the next several hours. But over towards the Bryan area, Defiance, down towards Ottawa, Lima, even parts of Fulton County and Henry County, you're done with these strong showers and thunderstorms. But as far as that tornado warning goes, let's get that information for you, because if you're in Findlay, I know you're probably hearing the sirens going off because you're in Hancock County. Same thing over towards Seneca County and also into Wyandotte County. Let me clear this off for you because I want you to see just exactly what I'm talking about as far as this tornado warning goes. Over towards Findlay, you can see that pink polygon, it's south of you, but Mount Blanchard, Cary, you are in that line as far as that tornado warning goes. In fact, the Mount Blanchard area, seeing those very strong storms at the moment, and we're going to continue to see that push off towards Cary into parts of northern Wyandotte County and southern Seneca County within the next several minutes. So this is what we're seeing as far as this tornado warning goes. This tornado warning was issued just after 7 o'clock this evening, Hancock, Seneca, and also Wyandotte counties. So this is in effect until 7:45 this evening. That means we are still going to be on air for the next 20 minutes, helping keep you safe and also keep you informed. But as around 7:18, a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado. Nothing confirmed just yet, just radar indicated as of now, but near the Arlington area or 7 miles southeast of Findlay. So again, that's why Findlay is not in that tornado warning right now. But again, if you are in Hancock County, Seneca County, or Wyandotte County, you're hearing those sirens go off right now. But as far as that track goes, we are still tracking some of those strong storms across the area. So Arcadia, Cary, Lovell, Kirby, Seneca, you have that potential to see some very strong storms knocking at your doorstep within the next several hours. You can see the time frame right there. Cary around 7:34, Lovell around 7:36, Upper Sandusky 7:42. You need to be in your safe place, and then over towards Seneca just about 10 minutes before 8 o'clock. And again, that's the only tornado warning that we are watching at the moment. Now, I do want to look at storm reports real quick, and then John will bring you back in. But as far as those storm reports go, I mean, it's been a lot between the strong winds, the heavy rain, and the strong hail as well, too, the very large hail. And you can see we're still seeing some reports right now actually down into Hancock County of some very strong winds. Wind gusts, let's see, right now around about 68-mile-an-hour wind gusts reported in Hancock County at the moment. And looks like we are still seeing this tornado warning in place for about another 20 minutes or so. So, John, again, we have team coverage all throughout this evening. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep you updated both on air and online.
Yeah, that tornado warning in the rotation area is heading into Wyandotte County right now. So obviously southern Hancock County still an area of concern, but it does appear you can see this broader line. There is a little bit of a kink in that line there that is just crossing the Hancock and Wyandotte County line, and that could potentially impact Cary within the next 20 minutes. So if you're not already in your tornado shelter, Cary, you absolutely need to be there. Now, if you live back towards Mount Blanchard, you'll want to stay in that basement or interior space, although frankly, I think the worst of the rotation and the potential for tornado is now moving into Wyandotte County. You can see the radar scan just updated live as we are on the air with you. Now, I pointed out earlier, strong straight line winds impacted the city of Findlay with gusts of 68 miles per hour. So that goes to show, even if you are not within the realm of that tornado warning, there is still going to be some powerful winds with this. That tornado warning continuing for another 18 minutes. Our current time is 7:27 going on 7:28. There's that kink in the radar that we're seeing just to the south of Van Loo. This is north and northeast of Mount Blanchard, moving towards Cary. Just to the north of State Route 103 is where this rotation is occurring. And obviously we don't have the best radar coverage in Hancock County, but simply based on that appearance alone, I do still see signs that there is rotation ongoing with that storm. So over into Wyandotte County and up into Seneca County, you need to be on high alert as that storm pushes on through. Now, one update from the National Weather Service. The storms in the metro have been upgraded upgraded to a potential for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So in other words, the intensity likely has climbed a little bit. We have a severe thunderstorm watch that continues until 10 o'clock p.m. And as of now, that is our only active tornado warning that includes Hancock, Wyandotte, and portions of Seneca County. But we're keeping a very close eye on the atmosphere and on things that can potentially change. Now, there is one area of concern elsewhere outside of the tornado warning that does have my eyes. The location along the lake shore. There is a little bit more wind shear or turning in the atmosphere right there, and some of the ingredients are a little more conducive for a brief area of rotation. So there's no active tornado warnings there for the metro. However, I'm watching this area closely because there is a bit more wind shear, and simply based on what we know about today's atmosphere, there could be a brief spin-up tornado. This line of storms spanning all along the I-75 corridor. Now, I do want to jump into the hour-by-hour forecast, as we do have these storms that will be moving east of I-75 by 8, and our weather impact alert day continues through the evening. By about 9 o'clock p.m., we're going to be seeing stormy weather in Erie and Huron counties, and it'll be pushing towards the lakeshore. And then by midnight, we will finally say goodbye to the storms, and we'll eventually give you the all clear once that warning is expired. Now, for those just tuning in, I do want to get back to the active tornado warning that we've been watching. Current time is now 7:29, and that one is going to extend until 7:45. And it does look like the warning was trimmed ever so slightly. So if we can get the latest on this warning, you will see it does still continue until 7:45, but it has been trimmed a little bit based on the latest radar trends. So the village of Cary still absolutely under that tornado warning, and this is now south and east of the city of Findlay. You can see when it flashes there on screen. That's when we get new information from the National Weather Service. That tornado warning including portions of Hancock, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. Current time at now 7:30, and that goes until 7:45. Now, the brunt of that rotation does appear to be entering Wyandotte County. Originally, it started off back towards Arlington and Mount Blanchard, but the threat is now actually moving to the east and northeast. So if you live in Cary and you're not already in your tornado shelter, now is the time to get to that interior space. You know, if you don't have a television in your tornado shelter, you can also stream along on WTOL 11 Plus and on our social media sites and YouTube channel, as well as we live stream simulcast that as well. You're looking to the northwest of Upper Sandusky, where that rotation likely is approaching Cary as well, and some strong, powerful winds as well. Findlay saw that 68-mile-per-hour wind gust. We're watching really some heavy rainfall also that is moving towards Wyandotte County, and if there is some rotation, it's likely right along that State Route 103 corridor as well. Kind of want to reset the view and show you the potential for severe weather. Those strong straight-line winds, the primary impact across the Toledo metro, and we still do have that severe thunderstorm watch that goes until 10 o'clock p.m. Now, Kaylee, I know we've been kind of going back and forth here looking at reports from the NWS. I know I saw that the tornado warning was trimmed a little bit in terms of the coverage and the size of it, but were there any updates other than simply just shrinking it based on latest radar trends?
Yeah, as far as I'm looking at from the National Weather Service offices, which have been amazing communicating with us to help keep you guys safe and informed. Like John mentioned, that warning has been allowed to be trimmed just a little bit, however, has not been allowed to expire any earlier, still in effect until about 7:45 this evening. But now you can see it's just a good portion of southeastern Hancock County, still if you're in Seneca County, and also northwestern Wyandotte County. But from Findlay, Upper Sandusky, and Tiffin, you are not in this isolated warning. But I do want to zoom in and focus on this warning just a little bit more, as we're seeing some strong winds. In fact, some wind gusts over around 60 to 70 miles an hour. And this is the report that I am getting from the National Weather Service office. Just a few moments ago, the severe thunderstorm warning was capable of producing a tornado located near the New Regal area, so about 11 miles north of Upper Sandusky. And this is moving east about 60 miles an hour. So as far as this track goes with this tornado warning, I want to zoom out just a little bit. Cary, like John mentioned, you are in this little notch right here. We're going to be seeing some very heavy rain within the matter of minutes. So if you are watching this or you're hearing us on your devices, you need to be getting to your safe place right now. Along with that heavy rain, tracking a decent amount of lightning as well too. Just in this little polygon alone, I want to see how much lightning, in fact, we are seeing. So lightning strikes, about 20 lightning strikes. So just a decent amount of lightning. But again, I want to focus on this track because you're probably watching if you're in the Seneca County area. Okay, if I'm in Tiffin, what do I need to know as far as this track goes? So again, it's moving about 60 miles an hour east. So this is what we're looking at. Just in the next few minutes from the Cary area, again, it is at your doorstep. right now. Over towards New Regal, about 7:41 is the time for this line to be moving on through. So you can see it right over there. Seneca, about 7:50. And if you're in Tiffin, even though you're not in this tornado warning right now, you're gonna be seeing this line push on through right around 7:54 this evening. So you got about 20 minutes before you need to be hunkered down into your safe space. But we're not just tracking that single tornado warning. We're also tracking multiple thunderstorm warnings as well too. So this is the latest loop on radar within the past hour. So bring a lot of heavy rain, some very strong storms, a lot of lightning. But I know, bear with me here for a second. I want to take off radar and lightning and just show you as far as these watches and warnings go. So if you're basically west of I-75, almost for the most part, you can see parts of Wood County and Lucas County already have been allowed to have that warning expired from those severe thunderstorm warnings. But if you're west, Hendry County up towards Fulton County, even a little bit over towards Lenawee County, down towards Putnam County, and western Hancock County, some of you are in the clear. The further west you are in Hancock County, you're done with that. But if you're over towards southeastern Hancock County right there, you are still under that tornado warning for about another 10 minutes. Again, this will be allowed to expire right around 7:45 for this evening. So of course, we're going to keep you posted as we continue to keep you updated both on air and also online as well too. And again, we've been talking about the strong winds. I do want to look at the storm reports once again. I know I've been talking about the storm reports a lot, but it's very helpful when it comes to information to provide for you here on TV. So we're still tracking. You can see this little polygon right here, right in the downtown Findlay area as far as those strong winds go. Again, wind gusts possible around 68 miles an hour over towards Putnam County. Notice we're seeing some downed trees, also those strong winds as well too. I do want to take a moment and focus on Lucas County, downtown Toledo. If you're in the Toledo metro, these strong storms are going to be, again, at your doorstep within the matter of moments. In fact, John, if you have a moment, can we take the downtown camera, or directors, if we can take the downtown camera just to see if we're seeing anything over downtown Toledo just yet. Whoa!
Green screen, I do want to identify, what's going on. That's what we call a shelf cloud, and that is characteristic of a powerful line of storms that is approaching. So if you're in the Toledo metro, there's the chance for 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. It certainly looks ominous in the sky, and essentially this is the leading edge of a storm that is associated with those powerful winds that are gusting. The sky is really turning gray, and you'll oftentimes see this in the distance as a line of thunderstorms is moving on through. So yeah, certainly an ominous look high atop downtown Toledo. And even though there's no tornado warning for the metro, boy, those severe winds are going to be packing a punch. I want to reset the picture for those just tuning in. We're at 7:36 right now, and our tornado warning is going to be extending until 7:45, and that includes portions of Hancock, Seneca, and Wyandotte counties. So bear with us for another 9 minutes or until the threat has passed. Zooming in on that tornado warning in particular, Cary is one of the spots of concern right now. It does appear that the biggest threat is now out of the Mount Blanchard area, although you want to stay hunkered down as we do have a new tornado warning that was just issued. So you saw that get extended by the National Weather Service live as we are on the air right here. You'll notice a lot more pink now on radar. This is just breaking news right into our weather system. So this warning, this one that was newly issued, that is going to go until 8:15 p.m. We're at 7:36 right now, and this one includes Seneca, Wyandotte, and Crawford counties. So this little kink that I was pointing out near Cary, that is representative of rotation within this line that is likely to extend and continue. So that warning is going to go a little bit later until 8:15 p.m. and it's very likely that that rotation is something the National Weather Service is keeping a very close eye on. And this is a quick mover, and that's one of my areas of concern, is because it's moving at 50 to 60 miles per hour. There is going to be a lot of potential for a quick spin-up tornado. Now, the city of Tiffin is under that tornado warning, so if you live in Tiffin, you need to get to that interior space away from doors and windows, preferably a basement. I want to zoom a little bit further to the south. Bloomville, Republic, Attica, you are also under that tornado warning. It does cut off just to the north of Bucyrus as we look down towards Crawford County. Upper Sandusky, you are under this tornado warning as well. So if you live in Upper Sandusky, please get to that tornado shelter. You can stream our coverage on our social media sites and as well on YouTube. I want to reset the view since we did just have that newly issued tornado warning that now extends through a good portion of southern Seneca Seneca County, as well as northern Wyandotte and northern Crawford counties. Now, it is likely that Hancock County is going to get the all clear soon, but if you do live in that little sliver of Hancock County, stay hunkered down and bear with us as we watch this storm that is moving off to the east-northeast. Still appears as if it's moving at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. You know, the latest reports from the National Weather Service for this newly issued tornado warning does show that it has slowed down a little bit, but the severe thunderstorm capable of producing the tornado was located near Sycamore, or 7 miles to the north of Upper Sandusky. So it's locations to the north of Upper Sandusky where that rotation is the most evident. You can see where those lightning strikes are near Sycamore. That is where the rotation has been occurring, and this new warning is going to extend a little bit later until about 8:15 p.m. And now it's moving to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. So I want to get a track on this and show you exactly when you can expect the rotation to arrive in your neck of the woods. So based on the latest speed of this system, we're going to look at 40 miles per hour and extend that out to the northeast. So if you live in the city of Tiffin, we're at 739 right now. Radar is estimating that that rotation is directly overhead Tiffin at 750. So you have an 11-minute window right now where we are giving you the heads up that there is going to be hazardous weather and a potential tornado moving towards Tiffin by 7:50. If you live out towards New Washington, 8:12, Seneca just moments away as this storm rolls on in your direction. I want to zoom in particular on this newly issued warning that goes until 8:15, and our system just updating it. That old warning is until 7:45. So frankly, I think Hancock County is going to get the all clear when that warning expires at 7:45. It's really the leading edge of this storm that is the most concerning, and now it is moving into Seneca County, and it's also moving into Wyandotte and Crawford counties as well. That rotation was just to the north of Upper Sandusky, where you see those lightning strikes. Here's the new tornado warning that goes until 8:15 p.m. We're currently at 7:40. Now I want to pop on storm relative velocity using that radar from the National Weather Service Cleveland and see where there may be rotation on this. Not necessarily the best radar coverage site, but there was certainly some evident rotation that was occurring to the north of Upper Sandusky, and it was just to the south of Cary. So if I had to identify where there's rotation here, you're looking to the north of Upper Sandusky and south and east of Cary, where that rotation is going to be heading into Seneca County. So obviously Seneca County, high alert with this system. If you live elsewhere, there are still active severe thunderstorm warnings. They're at play. Now we have all of Ottawa County under a thunderstorm warning, all of Sandusky County under a thunderstorm warning, and even if you live in far northern Seneca County, there is still going to be severe weather. This leading edge, or this line of storms, capable of producing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. In the city of Findlay, we saw a 68 mile per hour wind gust, and this line of storms is barreling on through. It does appear as if it's slowed down ever so slightly to about 40 miles per hour, but those of you that live in the city of Tiffin, down towards Upper Sandusky, this newly issued tornado warning goes until 8:15. We are at 7:41 right now. Toledo Metro getting some heavy thunderstorms as well. We've got team coverage with meteorologist Kaylee Bowers. Kaylee, I know you've been checking the National Weather Service correspondence. Do we have any new information right now? Is this still just a radar indicated tornado warning?
Yeah, John, as you can see, in fact, the National Weather Service office just extended those thunderstorm warnings to include over towards the Sandusky and Norwalk areas. But before we go any further, I do want to take our downtown sky camera really quick because, like John mentioned, Lucas County seeing some very strong showers and thunderstorms. That's downtown Toledo right now. Again, our sky cam way high up in the atmosphere. You can see a little bit of those raindrops, but we can go bring it on back to the shot over here. We also have some viewer videos as well too that I would like to have submitted as well too. This is over towards the Metamora area. You can see that shelf cloud just moving on through right there, and that's because of that cold front that's pushing on through as well too. So again, this is the Metamora area right there. You can see I mean, look how long this is as well too. So a lot of us saw this intense shelf cloud earlier this evening, if not already seeing it right now as well too. Let's go ahead and go back to Max 2 real quick and just show you. We're going to reset again that severe thunderstorm warning. I mean, it's from Lenawee County all the way down into Hancock County and also into Wyandotte County. But we are also watching these two tornado warnings. But like John mentioned, that Hancock County tornado warning, which is this one pink area you see right here, just off to your left, just east of Findlay, over towards northwestern Wyandotte County. Look at this. I do want to stop this because, again, we're not in the clear just yet for Hancock County. But you can see the worst of it now pushing off to our east, which now does include Tiffin. It is now past Upper Sandusky as well too. So the worst of it, most of Hancock County, I would say, is done with these strong storms. However, you are still under that tornado warning for about another 2 minutes, but we're focusing on this single tornado warning as well too. So Upper Sandusky, like I said, you can see off to your east, that red you see. So if you're over towards the Nevada area, Antrim, up towards the Broken Sword area, Holmes, you are still seeing these very strong storms knocking at your doorstep within the matter of moments. So Upper Sandusky, you're not done with those strong storms just yet, but the worst of them have already surpassed you. Now, I do want to take off the lightning striker because I know it's kind of difficult to see exactly what we're looking at, but we're watching this line right here. You see stretching all the way over towards 100, all the way down just west of Beast Cyrus. So Likens, Holmes, Texas, Bloomville, Republic, Tiffin. Look at Tiffin. Tiffin, you're barely in this tornado warning. However, you are in this tornado warning, which is still in effect for about another, I think it's still about, what was it, 8:15, I believe, that this tornado warning is in effect for. So 8:15. So what this means is if we have a tornado warning here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan, we are on air. We are keeping you safe and also keeping you informed as well too. So let's kind of reset here and show you the bigger picture with these strong showers and thunderstorms. So we are still watching that tornado warning that's going to be allowed to expire for parts of Hancock County in the matter of moments. Let me take this off so you can see. Again, if you're Findlay, you are officially in the clear. Now give us about 2 seconds and this should be allowed to expire, I believe. It's supposed to expire around 7:45, but regardless, Upper Sandusky, you are still under that tornado warning, but we are watching this polygon right here between, there you go, there it goes, expires right there from 65 to the 231 area to right around Highway 103. Where this very strong red line is, that's where we're really dealing with these severe, with a severe tornado outbreak. So this is what we're seeing as far as these strong winds go as well too. In fact, I do want to look at the wind gusts real quick because John, we've been talking about the winds throughout this entire hit. So we're seeing wind gusts in some areas around about 20 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour, but there are some very isolated areas where we're seeing wind gusts anywhere from about 60 to even 70 miles an hour. So I do want to check in with the National Weather Service, see if there's any updated information, which they have been amazing, giving us up-to-date information to give you both on air and also online as well too. And thank you all for your patience. We're here to keep you informed, also here to keep you safe as well too. So we're still tracking multiple thunderstorm warnings across the area. In fact, we're getting some pictures from, looks like the Putnam County area of quite a few downed trees and also some down power lines as well too. So I'm just looking at this to make sure. In fact, can we go ahead and take our downtown sky camera one more time? Because we're hearing it come down here as well too in downtown Toledo. So you can see some very heavy rain showers here in the Toledo Metro. So if you are in downtown Toledo, this is what you're seeing right now. But not just downtown, over towards Fremont, Tiffin, Upper Sandusky. You are under this line right now as these strong storms are moving on through. But John, we're going to keep everyone updated. I mean, we still have about 30 minutes left of this tornado warning being issued. What are you seeing over there as far as new information goes? Yeah, Kaylee, it's areas to the south of the city of Tiffin where the rotation is the most concerning right now. You can see that little notch in the main line. You're looking south along State Route 231 there, just to the north of State Route 67 and east of Seneca. That is where there could be a bit of rotation. You know, the National Weather Service keeping an eye on several areas of rotation as we get an updated radar scan. If you live in Republic over towards Bloomville, you'll want to get to that tornado shelter as this rotation could be heading in your direction within the next 5 to 10 minutes. We're at 7:47 right now. This one's moving at 40 miles per hour, so not a whole lot of lead time ahead of this, but I do want to give you a heads up. Republic, Bloomville, over towards Attica, this is going to be arriving in your neck of the woods within the next 15 to 30 minutes. Now, it does appear that if there is rotation with this cell still, it's likely south of Tiffin, where the National Weather Service keeping a very close eye upon, just to the south of State Route 224 and right along State Route 231, where there would be some rotation. Storm relative velocity, something we've been keeping a close eye on. The greens and the reds, generally that gives you a fairly good idea for where there could be some turning in the atmosphere that may have prompted this tornado warning, or a brief spin up is possible. Now, if you live in Bloomville, I'm especially concerned for that area because we are seeing some areas of rotation, some pockets of rotation that could be approaching State Route 19 there in Bloomville up towards Republic. It does appear that the
biggest impacts as of now are south of the city of Tiffin, but Tiffin is still under that tornado warning. We're at 7:48 right now, and it goes until 8:15. You will notice, though, that Lucas County, at least much of Lucas County, has been dropped from that severe thunderstorm warning as this line of storms races off to the east. Our lakeshore counties are still under active weather alerts, and that includes locations in Ottawa County like Port Clinton back towards Sandusky, as well as Huron County. The entirety of Seneca County is under a severe warning, but it's really that tornado warning that is focused on southern Seneca County, northern Wyandotte County, and northern Crawford County. This is a very quick moving line of storms. Now behind that line, it is just some heavy soaking rain. So if you live back towards Fulton County, if you live in Williams County, you don't have to worry about any more severe weather for the night. Even in the city of Bowling Green, I think the severe weather threat is just about done. However, over towards Sandusky and Norwalk, these storms are just getting started. This line of storms impacting a number of Midwesterners as we see stormy weather from Detroit all the way down towards Cincinnati, rolling along the I-75 corridor. So what can you expect going forward? This line of storms is going to be arriving along the lakeshore by about 8 to 8:30, and I think we will be able to give you the all clear right around 10 o'clock p.m. I'm going to jump back over to the latest on our current warnings, as well as our correspondence with the National Weather Service, and see if we do have any information. So there has been some new information regarding the rotation from this tornado warning. I'm going to jump back to that area that we were identifying earlier. A spotter was reporting an area of rotation. It appears near State Route 163 and Vogel Road, just to the west of Oak Harbor. That's actually a different cell, it appears. But I pointed out earlier that I'm also watching the lakeshore area. So there has been a spotter that is reporting some potential rotation near Oak Harbor. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that one as well. Of course, our focal point right now is going to be that tornado warning, but keeping a very close eye on the atmosphere that is loaded with a good amount of wind shear. It still looks to me, visually based on this, that it's to the south of the city of Tiffin, north of Texas, where there could be some rotation, where you see that notch in the broader line. Additionally, 60 to 70 mile an hour winds are going to be possible. I'm going to pop on the relative velocity and see if we have any new information here. There could be some broad rotation there to the southeast of Tiffin now. I pointed out earlier, Bloomville and Republic are going to be next in the line of this storm system. It's moving at 40 miles per hour, and it does look like the rotation is currently to the south of the city of Tiffin, nearby State Route 67, where you see those reds and greens that are occurring, and it's likely moving towards Republic and Bloomville and eventually Attica should this storm hold together. So I'm going to show you the bigger picture and how long this warning goes until. Current time, 7:50 p.m. We're going to stay with you until the threat has expired, and that warning is going to go until 8:15. It does appear that the biggest threat right now is moving into Crawford and central Seneca counties, and eventually eastern Seneca County. That is going to be one of my biggest areas of concern. Additionally, you can see some sort of notchy type shapes up towards Ottawa County. We're keeping a close eye on some potential broad rotation with that one as well. Zooming in particular on this tornado warning. The city of Tiffin, it is likely that this threat is now moving to the east and southeast of Tiffin, as well as to the east of Upper Sandusky as that threat clears out of Wyandotte County. Now, you'll want to stay hunkered down in that tornado shelter until the threat has entirely passed, as we are still monitoring that rotation that has been ongoing to the east of Seneca and south and east of the city of Tiffin. If you live in Republic and Bloomville, again, just moments away from this storm arriving in your neck of the woods. I do want to put a tracker on this. It does appear that the latest speed is still at approximately 40 miles per hour. So when can you expect this line of storms to move on through as we drag that one out? Current time is 7:52. I identified Bloomville as an area that needs to be on high alert. This storm is going to arrive in about 9 minutes directly overhead Bloomville. So please get to that interior space away from doors and windows. Some locations in parts of Huron County, should this storm hold together, Willard is expected to see this storm closer to the 8:30 time frame. Now, we saw some soaking downpours in downtown Toledo with that severe weather. It does appear that the severe threat is at least on a diminishing trend across Lucas County and the Toledo Metro. Downtown, we are still seeing those raindrops. We showed you the shelf cloud earlier. That was a associated with those powerful and gusty winds. And we have seen an abundance of wind damage and wind reports across the area. And it does appear that Kaylee has some new information just into the Weather Center. Kaylee?
Yeah, John, thanks so much. And if you are just tuning in, we are tracking that tornado warning down to our southern counties as well, too. It is slowly weakening at the moment, but you guys have been amazing at home sending in your viewer photos and videos over on the WTOL 11 weather app. The first photo I do want to show you out of the Perrysburg area. Check out that shelf cloud right there. I mean, absolutely intense. And a lot of folks saw this shelf cloud. And I believe there's 2 photos from the Perrysburg area as well, too, if we can get that one to rotate. But regardless, this shelf cloud brings some very strong winds, some very heavy rain. Again, multiple thunderstorm warnings, but also that tornado warning as well, too. So
there is a new tornado warning that has been issued. This one is for parts of Lucas and Ottawa counties. I was talking earlier about how the lakeshore area has more wind shear. This warning goes until 8:15, and it does include portions of Lucas and Ottawa counties extending towards Port Clinton. Now, the rotation based on storm relative velocity is certainly concerning because obviously we do have the strong straight line winds shown by those green colors. However, I do want to identify where there could be some rotation that is occurring in far eastern Lucas County. We are looking at that rotation right along State Route 2 out towards Howard Marsh Metro Park. You will notice where you see those greens and reds, there could certainly be some rotation. Perhaps the lake breeze is enhancing that. So keeping a very close eye on that area of rotation. Additionally, as we pan down towards Ottawa County, Oak Harbor is getting some powerful winds. In Oak Harbor, you need to get to that tornado shelter as this warning does include the metropolitan area there as well. This one's moving off towards the lake shore. So some of you in Lucas County, you may be hearing those tornado sirens go off as this does encompass parts of Lucas County now. The vast majority of Lucas County is not in the line of fire this storm. This is far eastern Lucas County. So let's just say you live out towards Perrysburg. This one is far to the east of you. If you live in West Toledo or Sylvania, this is far eastern Lucas County out towards Ottawa County where that rotation is occurring. Now, in addition to that tornado warning, I do want to get further to the south down towards Seneca County as well as Wyandotte and Crawford County. That is ongoing until 8:15 as well. The current time is 7:55. I can hear the tornado sirens going off here in downtown Toledo. You are likely hearing the same thing if you live in the Toledo metro, but I do want to at least give you some assurance that it's far eastern Lucas County as well as Ottawa County. But I am concerned certainly by the atmospheric profile that is ongoing there, where there has been a little bit more rotation. So there's a couple areas of rotation that NWS is identifying. I talked about it earlier near State Route 2. That is where there is some turning in the atmosphere. Additionally, there is some rotation several miles to the east of Oregon and another one just to the north of Oak Harbor. So I want to get to Oak Harbor and show you just a little bit to the north where there could be some turning in the atmosphere. You can definitely see that right there. I'm going to draw a circle around this area that I'm particularly concerned about. State Route 19 going north to south. There could be some rotation there in State Route 2. Right at the junction of that intersection, that is where there is likely turning in the atmosphere. This is to the north of Rocky Ridge and the north of Oak Harbor, where there is that area of rotation. Up towards Lucas County, there is also a bit of rotation that is ongoing. This is to the east of Oregon out towards Howard Marsh Metro Park. And I'm going to circle this area of rotation that is a second focal point for concern. This is to the south of Maumee Bay State Park, nearby State Route 2 near Howard Marsh Metro Park over towards Reno Beach. That is an area where we are seeing some pretty tight rotation. The reds and the greens have prompted this warning. Now, if you live anywhere in Lucas County, you may be hearing those tornado sirens go off. Eastern Lucas County, please get to that tornado shelter as we do have this active tornado warning that is at place. I want to reset radar, show you the bigger picture. This line of storms currently is producing the tornado warning in Ottawa County and eastern Lucas County. Additionally, we are keeping a very close eye on this southernmost tornado warning as well. And this one goes until 8:15 as well. It's 7:57. We've been on air every step of the way with each of these tornado warnings, and they're both set to expire at about 8:15 today. it appears, but we're keeping a very close eye on the atmosphere and the rotation that's going on in both of those. Down towards the southern one, I'm not seeing quite as distinct of a velocity signature, but certainly in parts of Ottawa and Lucas counties, several areas of rotation. I'm going to circle both of those. One of them is near Howard Marsh Metro Park, and the other one is to the north of Oak Harbor. So we've got both of those areas of rotation. The National Weather Service keeping a very close eye on things, as are we here as we get updated data. And as we push towards the lakeshore area, there is going to be some better data coming in from the Cleveland radar beam, and we'll have a better idea of where that velocity signature is concerning. But there's these two primary areas of rotation. One of them is several miles to the east of the city of Oregon. The other one is just to the north of Oak Harbor, right along State Route 2, south of State Route 2, and along State Route 19. You can see that new radar scan just coming into the weather center here. I want to zoom in on this particular area of rotation in eastern Lucas County. Oregon, not within that tornado warning. This tornado warning is just to the east of Oregon, but locations in the vicinity of Howard Marsh Metro Park in particular, that is where we are seeing what is called a couplet on radar, where those red and green colors are juxtaposed. And out near Howard Marsh, that is the area of concern that we're keeping a very close eye upon. So Kaylee, I know for folks who are tuning in from the Toledo Metro who may be hearing those tornado sirens, I know we are here at the WTOL 11 studios. Yeah. Who in particular is in the highest area of concern? Where are these storms headed, and what are you tracking on your end?
Yeah, John, so like you just mentioned, if you're in the Toledo Metro, you are not in this tornado warning. In fact, it is west of you, but that does include the Oregon area. I know whether you're in Lucas County or even when you have these tornado warnings earlier this afternoon, this evening, when you hear those sirens pop on up, you have to tune into us here on WTOL 11 because the warning, it's issued for the entire, or your alarm it goes throughout the entire county. Now, it's not for us here in the Lucas or in the Toledo Metro, but we are watching again from Ottawa Wildlife Refuge over towards Oregon. If you're over towards the Davis-Besse area, Camp Perry, also down towards Oak Harbor, you are under this tornado warning in effect for about another 15 minutes. Now, I do have some incredible video that I do want to showcase from you. We have two different videos that I do want you to see. This one, the first one, you can see, look at that tornado right there. You can see, where was this one again? You can see right there, it was touching down, it's over towards the Seacourt area. Thank you so much. Again, you guys have been amazing sending these in, so thank you again. If we can go over towards the other one as well too, because we have multiple videos and photos sent in from you at home. Look at that. It's almost touching down right there along the highway. I believe so. Yeah, I think you're exactly right there, John. I don't recommend videoing or taking photos while you're driving, but thank you so much for sending that in as well too. And again, keep sending in your photos and videos. Our producers and directors are doing an amazing job giving us these photos to give you here on air. So right now it just turned 8 o'clock. We've been on air for about an hour now with multiple tornado warnings. This is the one tornado warning that we are watching right now. So I do want to zoom out, kind of give you a little bit of a reset because not everyone under these tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings. In fact, some of us just seeing some light rain for this evening as well too. So thank you so much for this your patience. Again, 2 tornado warnings are in place right now. So let's just clear off radar real quick. I just want to show you as far as the warnings go. If you are west of I-75, you are in the clear. You're not under any tornado warnings or thunderstorm warnings for this evening, but we are watching these 2 different pink polygons right there over towards the Lucas County area, over towards also Erie County, down towards Seneca County, and a little bit as well into the Wyandotte County area as well too. So those are 2 tornado warnings. That yellow you see also those severe thunderstorm warnings, which are also in place for this evening. So let's pop back radar on as well too. And again, I know you have other shows that you want to watch. If we have a tornado warning issued, we are on air to keep you safe, whether you're here in Toledo, down towards Perrysburg, over towards Putnam County. We're going to keep you safe and informed until these warnings are allowed to expire. So again, thank you for your patience. We want to keep you safe and informed as well too. So we are watching these 2 different tornado warnings. I want to go down towards Tiffin, over towards Likens, New Washington, as this tornado warning should still be in effect for about another 14 minutes. Let's get you your information right here from Crawford County, Seneca County, also Wyandotte County. This is again in effect until 8:15. So that's the first tornado warning that we are looking at. The one that was just issued that John was talking about just a moment ago, right there, I believe that's also still in effect until about 8:15 as well too. So from Lucas and also Ottawa counties, this is in place for another 15 minutes, and you can see just how strong these rain showers are. And I do want to put the clock into motion as well too, because this line has been whipping through very quickly. This is a radar loop within the past hour. So we're watching this line right here off towards our eastern counties. I'm going to stop this real quick. This is the line that we're concerned about, producing multiple thunderstorm warnings and also multiple tornado warnings. This rain you see off to our west from Adrian, Wauseon down towards Lima, yes, it's still bringing us some more moderate to heavy rain, but think about those showers we saw earlier this afternoon around lunchtime. Kind of similar to that, just some more moderate to light rain showers, really nothing strong or severe with those showers off to our west. And speaking of watches and warnings and advisories, the National Weather Service office has been allowed to trim back the severe thunderstorm watch that is in place. Again, anywhere you can see in the pink right there, this is in effect until 10 o'clock this evening. So we are still under a severe thunderstorm watch, again, for our eastern counties for right now. But as far as that warning goes, multiple warnings go, we are continuing to monitor this as well too. So of course, we have team coverage. John Birchfield, myself, we're not going anywhere. We're keeping you safe both on air and also online as well too. So John, what's the latest you're seeing on your end over there?
Yeah, so obviously we saw that visual confirmation of a funnel cloud. Where exactly was that video taken? It was Bellevue. Yeah. So obviously these were initially radar indicated, but it does appear as if there could have been a tornado. We can't definitively say that at this point in time. However, we still do have these active warnings. The southern warning, it did get trimmed a little bit. So now it just includes portions of Crawford and Seneca County. So Wyandotte County is no longer under a tornado warning. That is our one bit of good news. And then as we look up towards Ottawa and Lucas counties, this warning remains ongoing, but the biggest threat is now moving out over towards the water. We're still seeing lots of lightning and thunder there in far eastern Lucas County and northern Ottawa County as well. As far as the velocity scan goes, there is rotation still evident, but now it is over the water, which is certainly good news. Obviously, a very hazardous day to be out on the water, but it does appear that that threat is moving out over the water. We initially saw that rotation that started off to the east of the city of Oregon, and it does appear that that little kink in the velocity signature, that is now over Lake Erie. Further south, we're watching some strong winds moving towards Port Clinton. There could potentially be some rotation and a brief spin up near Port Clinton, so you need to be in that interior room away from doors and windows in the basement preferably. We're also keeping a potential eye on should this be extended into Erie County, because there is still an enhanced level of wind shear or turning in the atmosphere that is existing right along the lakeshore. The southernmost tornado warning, that goes until 8:15. Now we've just got this sort of rectangular polygon that includes now just Crawford and Seneca counties, and it is to the east of the city of Tiffin. So if you live in Tiffin, you are no longer under that tornado warning. As far as velocity goes, not really seeing quite as much of a rotation signature as we were earlier. This was the particularly area of concern, because we saw obviously the photos and the videos, but also the rotation was a little more evident on our velocity signature. Still seeing some soaking rain across the metro. Even though it is just far eastern Lucas County that is now under that warning, the vast majority of the Toledo Metro just getting rained on right now and no imminent severe weather. I'm keeping a very close eye on Erie and Huron counties, because right now you have a thunderstorm warning. There could be 60 to even 70 mile-an-hour winds, but both of these tornado warned storms are encroaching on your area. So if you're tuning in from Sandusky or Norwalk this evening, don't just stay put. Stay put, because there could potentially be a reissuance or an extension of one of those warnings that does go out into Erie and Huron counties. Lots of lightning and thunder still, with the leading edge of this storm now moving towards the lakeshore. Now the good news is, once that leading edge does pass, it appears as if the threat is going to expire, but we still do have these active warnings. We're at 8:06 right now, and this warning is set to expire at 8:15 in Crawford and Seneca counties. We've been on air ever since it was issued, and additionally that warning further to the north, that is also until 8:15. It does appear that the biggest threat is now moving out over the water, but those of you down towards Port Clinton, between Oak Harbor and Port Clinton in particular, need to be in that tornado shelter, away from doors and windows in an interior room of your home. Velocity signature, we're still seeing some strong and gusty winds, but where you see those greens and reds colliding, that is now moving out over the water. Potential impacts to the Lake Erie Islands are going to be possible as well. So obviously hazardous marine conditions, but the Lake Erie Islands could be impacted by not only the strong winds, but the potential rotation with that. And I do want to show you the bigger picture once again. Everybody is seeing some sort of rain or thunderstorm thunderstorm activity. There will still be some powerful and gusty winds moving into Erie and Huron counties. And even if you live back towards, say, Tiffin or Upper Sandusky, thankfully both Tiffin and Upper Sandusky no longer under a tornado warning. However, there are still going to be some strong winds. We've got team coverage, and we do have an update from our meteorologist, Kaylee Bowers. Hey, Kaylee.
Yeah, hey there, John. Yeah, real quick, we're chatting with the National Weather Service office. I know it hasn't been updated just yet, but it sounds like this tornado warning for Lucas and also Ottawa County will be allowed to expire as the squall line has now pushed off into the lakeshore. So it's still popping up right now, but from what the National Weather Service office says, they will be expiring that within the matter of moments. And you can see, looking at it just a little bit closer, I mean, right along the lakeshore, still seeing some more very heavy rain, also seeing an insane amount of lightning right there. But that tornado warning will be allowed to expire within the next few minutes as well, too. And we're on the tail end of this severe weather right now, but we are still watching again another tornado warning down to our south in parts of eastern Seneca County. If you're hearing this and you're in Tiffin, it's off to your east right now too. So over towards the Willard area, just a little bit east or west of that, but Attica, Bloomville, over towards Republic, you are still under that tornado warning as well too. But let's show you exactly the full picture. In fact, we're hearing some rumbles of thunder down here in the Toledo Metro as well too. And we actually do have a viewer photo as well too. Thank you so much for sending this in. This is off the Craig Street Bridge once again from that shelf cloud from taken earlier this afternoon and earlier this evening. Again, if you can safely send in your pictures and videos, please do so. But of course, we're going to continue to monitor this. But right now, it's just about to turn 8:09. We have been wall-to-wall team coverage here since about 7 o'clock this evening. And the reason is because we've seen multiple tornado warnings. I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, there's nothing going on in my town. We're still keeping everyone safe and everyone informed. But if things go correctly with the timing of this, these warnings should be allowed to expire within the next 6 minutes or so, as we are still watching 2 tornado warnings across the area. But if you're in the Toledo Metro, BG, Findlay, Fremont, Tiffin, Upper Sandusky, West, you're just seeing some of those scattered showers and thunderstorms for this evening. We are still tracking again those 2 tornado warnings. You can see, I know there's a lot of color, so let's break this down just a little bit more. First off, I do want to take off the lightning because I know it's a lot of lightning, but let's also take off the radar as well too. If you live in any of these pink polygons, that's where those tornado warnings are still allowed to be going on right now. But like we just mentioned, if you're in the Lucas County or Ottawa County area, notice that line is right off the lakeshore. So anywhere from the Ottawa National Wildlife Refuge all the way down towards Port Clinton, most of that has now pushed off towards the lakeshore as well too. If you're over towards the islands, Put-in Bay, Kelly's Island, you're gonna be seeing some more very heavy rain within the matter of minutes, but you're not under that tornado warning. So we're going to continue to watch both of these tornado warnings. John, I say for about another 5 minutes, but if say it extends, we're going to continue to monitor this until both of these warnings are allowed to expire.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kaylee, there are still some concerning signs for Erie and Huron counties. Those severe thunderstorm warnings are tagged as considerable. So there are still some powerful wind gusts associated with this. As Kaylee pointed out, the warning for eastern Lucas and Ottawa counties, that one is going to be expired. And at any moment, you're going to see that pink polygon disappear from your screen. We're still keeping a very close eye on that southern warning that does include portions of Crawford and Seneca counties. I want to zoom in first and foremost on the Ottawa and Lucas warning. That one, the National Weather Service will expire, so we can give you the all clear that once that pink polygon disappears, we'll give you the all clear in Oak Harbor back towards Port Clinton as that threat pushes over the water. Now, meanwhile, the southern extent of this line, we are still seeing some broad rotation, also some strong winds. You'll notice this line is very unidirectional. There are still some powerful winds, and there is the chance that 70-mile-an-hour winds are approaching Norwalk. Even though you don't have a tornado warning, winds can be very impactful. So Norwalk, you still want to be away from windows and certainly indoors during this event. Now, currently, this tornado warning is set to expire in 4 minutes time. We're at 8:11. This is set to expire at 8:15. So if you've been hunkered down in your basement, we're almost there. We're going to give you the all clear in just moments. Now, the upside to what I'm seeing right now is there is simply just one color here on velocity, and that is green. And that means that this wind field has taken on a more unidirectional profile. In other words, it's all going from west to east right now. Now, that's certainly not good news in terms of the straight line wind threat. Erie and Huron counties, including Norwalk, up towards Sandusky, there are going to be some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds that could be damaging. I want to zoom in on where this tornado warning warning is still active. Bloomville down towards New Washington, still some lightning and thunder, and there still potentially could be some embedded circulation within that. And I pointed out earlier, those thunderstorm warnings have been upgraded to considerable, and that is a rare occurrence around here. And that essentially means that they are a step ahead of just your typical thunderstorm warning. There could be winds gusting from 60 to 70 miles per hour, and there is the potential for power outages as well as tree damage that occurs in Erie and Huron counties associated with that storm. Now, we should have this tornado warning in Lucas and Ottawa counties expiring any moment. We're at 8:12 right now, and this southern warning for Crawford and Seneca County is set to expire in approximately 2 to 2.5 minutes. There could potentially be an extension out towards the lakeshore. As I pointed out earlier, there is still an area of higher wind shear that could be interacting with the lake breeze, and there could be some parameters in the atmosphere that do really ramp up that rotation aspect. In terms of what we're seeing on velocity, I pointed out the rotation from that northern warning has largely moved out over the lake, and we are seeing a primarily single direction wind field. So you'll notice green from Sandusky all the way down into Huron County and Mansfield, and that basically means the winds are moving from west to east as this line comes barreling on through. So the strong straight line wind threat, that is going to be an area of concern for Erie and Huron counties, although the rotation from this one, that is now moving out towards the Lake Erie Islands. So the islands are going to see some impactful weather as this one eventually clears out, and we are at 8:13 right now. We are going to stay on the air with you until the threat has passed and that warning has expired, and even when both of those expire, I'd like to stay on for a few more minutes just to make sure there's no additional watch issuance.
And John, hey, real quick, if we want to go ahead and come back over here, here's the put and bag camera that we have exclusively from shores and islands. So we are seeing those showers move on through onto the islands right now. So they are under a severe thunderstorm warning for this evening. No tornado warning for the islands as of now, but this is just a very impactful camera shot right there. You can see the waves just whooshing out there from those very strong winds. The camera is shaking as well too. I mean, look at the flagpole and also the flag just going very quickly, and the rain coming in onto the island as well too. So very impactful for this evening, and we are still tracking these strong and severe storms across the area. Right now is about 30 seconds until 8:15. We are still tracking 2 tornado warnings across the area now. John, we've been on here since 7 o'clock this evening. Eventually, we'll be wrapping up, hopefully within the matter of seconds, but we've been having team coverage all throughout this evening to keep you safe and informed as well, too. So, John, let's go and bring you back in as well, too, because we are still seeing these multiple tornado warnings across the area, multiple thunderstorm warnings, and should hopefully be expiring within the matter of seconds, if not minutes.
Yeah, we are hopeful to see those tornado warnings expire as we're on air. The National Weather Service certainly keeping an eye on Erie and Huron counties as well, Kaylee. There has been an uptick in the straight line wind potential, but you will notice there's just yellow now. It does appear that those warnings have been expired. I want to wait for confirmation here, but it does appear that they have been expired. So we can give you the all clear. If you were in that warning for Ottawa County and eastern Lucas County, you can emerge from that tornado shelter or safe space and know that the threat has passed. Now, Erie and Huron counties are still under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning, and that is an area of big concern right now because there is the potential for 60 to even 70 mile per hour wind gusts. And there has been some very powerful wind reports with this. The National Weather Service actually said there was a 54 mile per hour wind gust, and that was measured at the Sandusky County Airport near Fremont. So certainly some very powerful winds in the vicinity of Fremont, and that gives you an idea of what is heading in your direction in Erie and Huron counties. If you live in Sandusky down towards Norwalk, some strong straight line winds are going to be one of the biggest impacts. Now, velocity is one of the tools that we always turn to show us the winds and what they're doing in the atmosphere. Of course, there is still some wind shear that could be capitalized on, but as of now, it looks like it's mostly straight line winds that are going from west to east right now. So Sandusky down towards Norwalk, any sort of evening activities are going to be interrupted considerably as a result of the straight line winds that are occurring with this storm cell. Zooming in on where we did have that warning initially, for those just tuning in, if you were under that warning in eastern Lucas County and Ottawa County, you don't have to be in that tornado shelter anymore, but there is still some impactful weather. If you heard the sirens go off in the Toledo Metro, I'll give you the all clear in the Toledo Metro that the storm threat has passed. Now, there is a severe thunderstorm warning that extends from Port Clinton back towards Marblehead and up to Put-in Bay, where the rain is coming down heavily, and there is a lot of lightning and thunder. And Kaylee was keeping an eye on some of our sky sky cams earlier, I do want to get over to those Lake Erie shores and islands cameras as we have our eyes on the skies. Those strong winds are evident through the Catawba Island camera. Put-in Bay getting drenched in another downpour. We've already seen several today, and we're seeing those very strong winds through all of our cameras as well. Sandusky Bay getting the heavy rain, the wind, the lightning, and the thunder. So a number of impacts still remaining over the course of the evening as we track those severe thunderstorm warnings in Erie and Huron counties. We're at 8:17 right now, and those thunderstorm warnings are going to go until 8:45 p.m. Back to the west of this line, it does appear that the severe threat is done for the evening, and that includes the Toledo Metro, at least across Lucas County, where there is still some heavy rain. But are we seeing any of these watches getting trimmed? We did have the severe thunderstorm watch, although slowly but surely some of the counties are being dropped from that as the threat passes. So I want to show you our current severe watches that are still in place. If you live in Toledo down towards BG and Findlay, they're holding on to this warning for a bit longer until that line totally clears the area, but the thunderstorm watch remains in effect for Fremont and Tiffin. Even up towards Lenawee and Monroe counties, there is still an active severe thunderstorm watch, and that is set to go until 10 o'clock p.m. I do think the threat is going to expire a little bit before then, but we're going to hold on to those watches until they are totally expired. In terms of the active weather warnings that we have, no active tornado warnings on our map right now, although Erie and Huron counties up towards the Lake Erie Islands, so portions of Ottawa County are still under that thunderstorm warning. Portions of far eastern Sandusky County still under that tornado warning as well. In the city of Fremont, there was a wind gust report of about 55 miles per hour. But Kaylee, it doesn't appear as if there's an imminent, it doesn't appear as if there's going to imminently be a new tornado warning issued. Are you seeing any signs or concerns on Doppler radar right now?
John, no, I think the worst of it has definitely passed through our area already. Again, no active tornado warnings in place now here at 8:19 on your Wednesday evening. Now we are still tracking multiple thunderstorm warnings as this line continues to push over towards Sandusky, Norwalk, down towards Mansfield. We're going to stay with you for a few more minutes as we continue to observe this, just to keep you safe and informed as well too, because this line has been very powerful, very impactful, not just for us here in Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan, but a good portion of the region. Now earlier I showed you as far as storm damage reports go, and I do want to showcase that once again because I mean we saw strong winds, we saw down trees, we saw power lines down. I mean, just look at this. I know it looks a lot. You can see those icons. You can see some hail icons, some wind icons, some down trees icons, and in fact several tornado and final cloud reports as well too. This is just in the span of 24 hours as that line started out in the Great Plains earlier this afternoon, moved through parts of Illinois, Indiana, and now impacting us here in Northwest Ohio and also in Southeast Michigan. But bringing you back just a little bit closer to home, we're not in the all clear yet, but the further east you are still dealing with these strong winds and also some very heavy rain. But the further west you are, you're pretty much done with those very strong severe storms for this evening. Now, we're still seeing some typical late spring, early summer showers and thunderstorms as indicated on radar right now from Monroe, Toledo, BG, Findlay, Ottawa, Wauseon, Adrian, Hillsdale. If I said your town's name or nearby town's name, still seeing some heavy rain. But after that, in fact, John did a really good job earlier showing you the hour-by-hour forecast. So as we're wrapping this up, I do want to show you the hour-by-hour forecast one more time as well too, because later on tonight, this rain's going to be pushing out of here if it hasn't already. Now overnight, still could see a little bit of some on and off light rain, and then going on into tomorrow morning, some light rain, some moderate rain certainly possible. But because that cold front, that's the reason why that line moved through several states. It was because of that cold front. Temperatures are going to be cooling down just a little bit for tomorrow. Now, I say cooling down. We're going to be in the low 80s for tomorrow afternoon, but definitely cooler compared to what we saw today and what we will be seeing. So that front, there's that front right there pushing off to our eastern counties from the island, Sandusky, Norwalk, down towards Mansfield. So we are staying with you just for a few more moments as we are watching this line push on through. I do want to look at the lightning real quick as well too, because I mean it is a lot of lightning. So highlighting this, just this line right here all the way up towards the Monroe area, about 200 lightning strikes just in this polygon alone. But I do want to showcase also, let's look at the lightning up here as well too, because this is a lot. I know it's over the lake shore, but if you are over towards the islands, over towards Put-in Bay, over towards the Catawba area, Marblehead, even up towards Monroe, seeing about 151 lightning strikes just in that area alone. So it's a lot of lightning, a lot of rain, but here's the good news. We are not seeing at least as of now, no tornado threat. However, we are still under that severe thunderstorm watch in place for this evening. Now, for our eastern counties, that has been allowed to extend to about 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. But the further west you are, that is still in effect. It's about 10 o'clock this evening. But as far as these thunderstorm warnings go, I do want to take off the radar and just show you what we're seeing as far as these thunderstorm warnings go. This is all that's left of that line. If you remember just 90 minutes ago, it was clear over towards Williams County, over towards Defiance County, and down towards Van Wert County. This line pushed through and impacted everyone in the past 90 minutes. So, of course, John and myself are keeping you safe and informed both on air and online on the WTOL 11 weather app and also on WTOL 11 Plus. John, what are you seeing over there? What are your thoughts on as far as the system goes? We're almost close to the all clear. We're almost there.
Yeah.
But we're just that much.
So we are still looking at the latest data, and there have been a number of power outage reports in Erie and Huron counties as a result of those strong straight line winds. So even though there's no active tornado warning, there are still some very powerful damaging winds moving towards the vicinity of Sandusky down towards Norwalk, and the leading edge of that line is slowly exiting the area, but it is still taking some time. Keeping a close eye on a potential little notch as well. So I would like to stay with us just a little bit longer because there's the strong straight line winds that are just moving to the east of Norwalk, but there could potentially be a little bit of embedded rotation there just to the south of State Route 250 there and to the north of Norwalk. That is to the east of Bellevue where that may be occurring. If you live up towards Sandusky, you are really in the thick of it right now. The heaviest winds are now moving east of Sandusky and east of Port Clinton, but there is still that active severe thunderstorm warning that is ongoing right now. As far as velocity, for the most part, we are seeing just straight line wind threat right now. That green color indicates where there is the straight line wind risk that is continuing. As far as active warnings right now, well, there are active impacts to Erie and Huron counties that are being observed. A number of wind damage reports as well as power outages. There could be downed power lines, and those may even potentially impact drivers both tonight and for the morning commute tomorrow as a result of some of the strong winds that we are seeing. Back towards the Toledo Metro, just some steady and soaking rainfall that is ongoing, although for the most part, the threat is past for the Toledo Metro as we continue to monitor these storms that are moving to the east. Still some very, very powerful winds. A trained spotter in Sandusky reported a 57-mile-per-hour wind gust, and there is the potential for isolated wind gusts of 60 to even 70 miles per hour. Thankfully, though, no active tornado warnings at the moment, and it does appear as if it is the straight line wind threat that is the predominant risk right now. So here's what we're going to do. Because there's no active tornado warnings, we're going to sign off on air. However, if you want to stick with us and get the latest weather updates, we are going to continue streaming on WTOL 11 Plus, YouTube and social media channels, a number of different outlets. The WTOL 11 Plus app is something you can get right on your TV. So don't go anywhere. We're going to continue to monitor those. And if there is another tornado warning that is issued, you can find us right here on WTOL 11. But until then, we're going to stay live on Plus, stay live on YouTube, and you can stick with us there for the latest as we monitor these severe thunderstorm warnings that are moving off towards the lakeshore until the threat has passed. So signing off, at least on air, and we'll see you on WTOL 11 Plus, meteorologist John Birchfield. All right, there has been a new tornado warning actually just issued, so we're going to have to get back on air as well. It was just issued just moments ago, so if you're tuning in on WTOL 11 Plus, good to have you here, but we do have Erie and Huron counties as there has been a newly issued tornado warning. So I want to get over to this. This goes until 9 o'clock p.m. and it includes Erie and Huron counties as well. And this one is just to the east of Norwalk where it does appear as if this rotation is occurring. We're looking just to right along State Route 20 where there is likely to be some rotation with this storm cell. For those just tuning in, meteorologist John Birchfield. I'll be joined in moments by meteorologist Kaylee Bowers as well. A newly issued tornado warning just into the weather center. I pointed out there is that little kink in the radar right there to the east of Norwalk, and that is what has prompted this warning that is now clearing into far eastern Erie and eastern Huron counties. The current time is 8:26, and this warning is set to expire at 9 o'clock p.m. So the rotation is the worst to the east of Norwalk. I want to zoom in on where this kink in the in the radar is being observed right now. It looks like it's just to the east of Norwalk, where there has been some rotation that has been observed near State Route 601, State Route 250 right there, and it's moving towards Berlin Heights and pushing into Erie and Huron counties right now. In addition to the straight line wind threat, there is some rotation with this. Now, we've seen a number of damage reports, including downed trees, power lines, and power outages as a result of this storm system that is racing on through. I want to show you some of the storm reports. Earlier today, there were some reports of funnel clouds back to the west near Bellevue. So obviously, this system has a history of producing funnel clouds and potentially a tornado. Of course, it'll take official storm surveys to determine that, but that is precisely why this warning has been extended to include areas a bit further to the east. So I want to jump over to storm relative velocity. This is the tool that identifies the winds in the atmosphere and what exactly we're seeing. It does look like the rotation is likely occurring now to the east of Norwalk. The city of Norwalk, not actually under this tornado warning. It's near East Townsend, moving towards Wakeman, where there is going to be some rotation in the atmosphere. So if you live near Wakeman or Berlin Heights, there is likely some turning in the atmosphere. That green color, that indicates the winds obviously going in a straight line, but there is that little kink in velocity, which is indicative of some turning in the atmosphere, and that is just to the south of the Erie and Huron County line where that is occurring. We have the severe thunderstorm warnings that are still ongoing for Erie and Huron counties. 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, one of the biggest threats, and of course that tornado warning, it is in effect for another 32 minutes. We are at 8:28 right now, and that one is set to expire at 9 o'clock. If you live further to the west, including the Toledo Metro, the severe threat has passed. Wood County down towards Hancock County, the severe threat has passed, but we're keeping a very close eye on this newly issued tornado warning that includes Erie, Huron, and Lorain counties, and that one is moving right along the lakeshore. Earlier I identified that that's an area where there is a bit more wind shear in the atmosphere that could potentially be interacting with the lake breeze. So areas right along the Ohio Turnpike and south, that is where there is likely some rotation in the atmosphere that is occurring. Now, as of now, this is a radar indicated tornado warning, and the rotation is currently over northeastern Huron County, and it's moving northeast at about 50 miles per hour. Wakeman is in the imminent line of fire of this tornado warning. So if you live in Wakeman, you need to get to that indoor tornado shelter as it rolls on through. Seeing that rotation to the east of Berlin Heights as well. Let's jump back over to velocity and see if there's any new data coming in. Yeah, that rotation is just to the west of Wakeman. I want to draw a circle around a few areas where I'm seeing it. One is right there, and another is right there. So both in the vicinity of Wakeman, where there could be some turning in the atmosphere, just to the south of Wakeman there and west of Wakeman, where there is some turning in the atmosphere. It does appear that the biggest impacts as far as a potential tornado is to the south of Berlin Heights, where we are noticing where there's that rotation in portions of Huron County in particular, although Erie County is also included in this tornado warning, and that goes until 9 o'clock p.m. As of now, it is a radar indicated tornado warning that is just barely clipping southern Erie County, although it's primarily Huron County that's the area of concern. So thanks for joining us this evening, both on air and on WTOL 11+. We've been talking about other tornado warnings that were further west earlier, but now Kaylee Bowers is also joining us. We've got team coverage. Our attention is shifting to the east. Kaylee, we're almost done with the severe weather coverage, but folks in Erie and Huron counties need to get to that tornado shelter imminently.
Yeah, we've been talking all evening long. We've been on wall-to-wall coverage since 7 o'clock this evening as we've been tracking multiple tornado warnings. We're almost in the clear, but not just yet. However, the further west you are able to relax for this evening. But again, if you are the further east you are, we are still under that tornado warning until about 10 or about 9 o'clock this evening. Now, I do want to go over some reports that you have been amazing sending in safely. But the first thing from the mayor of Haskins, actually about 4 or 5 power poles are down right now, and the entire city is without power as well for this evening. So we're going to continue to monitor that. And in fact, if possible, in our directors in the back, if we can pull up our iNet computer as far as those power outages go across the area, just for us here in Northwest Ohio and a little bit into southeastern Michigan, about 27,000 customers are without power right now. That includes over towards Williams County, over towards, let's see, the Bowling Green areas of Wood County. In fact, check this out, Lucas County, indicated by that shade of orange you see right there, looks to be one of those higher numbers for this evening, over towards Oak Harbor, even over towards Sandusky, and that's where we are watching that tornado warning still off to our eastern counties for this evening. This is what we are seeing. In fact, let's go ahead and bring it back to Max 2 for tonight. I mean, this is what we're looking at. As far as that tornado warning goes, I do want to zoom into that. So this is in effect for Erie and Huron counties for our area. So of course, we're going to be wall-to-wall coverage until this tornado warning is allowed to expire. And you're probably, okay, if you're down in Wood County over towards Putnam County, why does this matter? Your safety is just as important as someone else's safety as well too. That's why we do this wall-to-wall coverage no matter where we are. If it's in our viewing area and it's a tornado warning, we are going to be on here to keep you safe and also keep you informed as well too. So again, this tornado warning for Erie and Huron counties in effect till 9 o'clock this evening. So we're going to be on for at least another 30 minutes unless this warning is allowed to be trimmed. So as far as timing of this goes, let's look a bit closer because John did a really good job explaining, okay, where is it going to be in your neighborhood and for how long? This is what we're looking at as far as the latest timing goes. In fact, this is updated just a little bit, so I do want to start this over and show you as far as the timing and the placement goes of this line. So you can see it's just in our eastern counties right there. From the Oberlin area, that's technically over towards Cleveland, still just as important. But I want to look towards Wakeman. Berlin Heights, technically right on that line of that tornado warning. But if you're in the Wakeman area, it is knocking at your doorstep. Same thing for East Townsend, West Clarksfield. You are seeing these very strong storms right now. In fact, a radar indicated tornado. You need to be in your safe place right now. So if you are over towards the Oberlin area, again, over towards the Cleveland area, you are under that tornado warning for this evening, as we are still watching this tornado warning in effect for another about 27 minutes for Erie and Huron counties. But a big thing that we are still monitoring are these reports. That's a big thing that's very helpful. And I mean, we've had reports of down trees, down power lines, power outages, strong winds. It's been a lot because of that cold front that brought those very strong storms earlier this evening, now moving into our eastern counties for this evening. So we're almost in the clear. We're not completely in the clear just yet. You saw just a moment ago, we were about to sign off. Then the National Weather Service offices are doing a fantastic job communicating with us as far as the importance of these tornado warnings and these severe thunderstorm warnings. So you can see we're almost there. If you're in Norwalk, the worst of it has moved off to your east. You can see that right there. New London, that storm is off to your north as well too. Sandusky, you're just under that thunderstorm warning for this evening, which, by the way, I do want to talk about as well too, because we are still under that severe thunderstorm watch for this evening, but we're also under multiple thunderstorm warnings as well too. So I'd like to do this. I'd like to just break this down piece by piece. Let's take off radar. Let's take off lightning. This is all that we're dealing with now. So the further west you are, Fremont, Tiffin, Upper Sandusky, west, if you're in the Toledo metro, we can relax. Yes, we're still seeing some of these moderate to heavy rain showers for this evening, but that severe threat has calmed down quite a bit. However, we are still watching that single tornado warning in our eastern counties, just barely. Again, Norwalk and Sandusky, you're not in this tornado warning. This is who is in this tornado warning. Again, I mentioned the Oberlin area, but also zooming just a little bit closer, you can see Berlin Heights just barely in that tornado warning. But this is when I want to bring back in the radar. Just show you, and I want to stop it. So Berlin Heights, it is now to your south and to your east. But if you're over towards the Wakeman area, like John mentioned, it's going to be at your doorstep in the matter of minutes, if not seconds. But East Townsend, that heavy rain pushed off to your east. Now West Clarksfield, you are still experiencing some very heavy rain for this evening. Now again, if you are just tuning in, we are under this tornado warning for another about 25 minutes as we are monitoring just a single tornado warning for this evening. And again, thank you to the National Weather Service offices who have been amazing, giving us wonderful information, keeping us safe, and also keeping us informed as well too. John, we're not going anywhere because we are still tracking this tornado warning in effect till 9 o'clock this evening. Any updates on your end as far as timing and impacts, and what else are we seeing for tonight?
So as far as the rotation goes, Kaylee, it does appear that it is now to the north and northeast of Wakeman, where we are seeing that turning in the atmosphere. A couple areas of rotation that I do want to identify on that storm relative velocity tool. There's I-80, and we're looking just to the south of I-80, moving honestly into Lorain County. So it does look like the worst of the rotation is now far to the northeast of Wakeman as that storm races to the east-northeast. For those who are just tuning in, I do want to get you the latest on this warning that has been trimmed a little bit, it appears, but that goes until 9 o'clock p.m. and it does include portions of Erie, Huron, and Lorain counties, although it is getting trimmed just to barely clip Erie and Huron Huron counties. I want to zoom in on the latest area of the warning. So if you live in Norwalk, you are not actively under this tornado warning. It still does include Wakeman. So if you live in Wakeman, I think the worst of the rotation has passed, but you'll want to stay in that tornado shelter. The worst of the rotation just to the south of the turnpike then, and north and east of Wakeman, where there has likely been a bit of rotation that could potentially produce a tornado. Now, in addition to the tornadoes, we're keeping a very close eye on the aftermath and the damage reports. Coming up tonight at 11 on WTOL 11, we'll be talking power outages. There have been over 2,000 power outage reports in Seneca County, and perhaps you are one of those. You can always stream our coverage on WTOL 11 Plus and on our YouTube channel as well. Now, there were some reports of funnel clouds in Erie County, and that is likely what prompted that tornado warning. Additionally, Huron County really got battered by these winds, and the strong winds produced a number of reports, including downed trees and downed power lines as well. Now, it's just a sliver of Erie and Huron counties that are still remaining under that active tornado warning. Current time is 8:37, and that's going to go until 9 p.m. But all of Erie and Huron counties could still see those severe wind gusts. 60 to 70 miles an hour will be possible as a result of this line. Now, it's really the leading edge of the line that is the concern. Behind that leading edge, yeah, there's a little bit of lightning and thunder, but it's primarily just some garden variety rain. So I can give you the all clear in Toledo, BG, Findlay. There's no more worry of severe weather. In fact, back towards Hillsdale, Williams, and Defiance counties, the rain has started to lighten on up. In addition to that tornado threat, strong straight line winds are rolling towards eastern Ohio, and that is going to be a big evening concern for folks in northeastern Ohio. The latest on velocity, it does appear as if it's trying to ingest some new data right now. So I want to jump back over to the tornado warning that does go until 9 o'clock p.m. Keeping a very close eye on correspondence with the National Weather Service. The tornado warning is going to be continued. In addition to the potential for winds, there could be some hailstones up to about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So that trifecta of weather impacts. As of right now, the severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is north and east of Wakeman, and it's moving to the northeast at approximately 50 miles per hour. So I want to zoom in on where the brunt of the storm is right now, and then put a storm cone on it based on that 50 mile per hour velocity as it moves towards the Cleveland metro eventually. Now, this storm is heading towards Lorain by about 8:55. Current time is 8:39. It would eventually arrive in Lakewood if it does maintain its intensity. So if you have friends and family out towards the Cleveland metro, perhaps give them the heads up and make sure that they are on weather alert, that there could be some impactful conditions moving in their direction. That rotation does look like it's moving towards Lorain County. The radar is still trying to ingest some new data, but if there is some turning in the atmosphere, I think it's likely just to the south of Henrietta, to the northwest of Oberlin, where there could be some rotation that is occurring in the atmosphere. And we'll get some better data with the next couple of radar scans as well as that severe weather barrels into eastern Ohio. So I know we have a lot of viewers in the Toledo metro that heard those sirens going off earlier. Certainly not a pleasant experience to hear those sirens. Thankfully, the threat has passed in the Toledo metro. There were some reports of funnel clouds, though, and the NWS is going to be surveying Ottawa County for a potential tornado touchdown. As of now, we cannot definitively say that there were any tornadoes that touched down, but we'll keep a very close eye on things should we get any reports. Now, based on current radar imagery, it does appear as if that rotation is concentrated to the north of Kipton, moving towards South Amherst and Oberlin. There's no debris signature on radar, meaning we can't confirm anything, yes, but to the north of Kipton, that is where the rotation is going to be the most evident, and that's the area that I was identifying earlier. There's Kipton, and if we can put the tool on that shows the number of miles, it's about 3 to 4 miles to the north of Kipton, where that turning in the atmosphere is occurring, just to the south of Henrietta, northwest of Oberlin, where that is moving. So frankly, I do think that this threat is exiting Erie and Huron counties. Of course, we still do have some viewers in Lorain County as we got a new radar scan. Certainly a little bit easier to identify based on this latest radar scan, but just to the south of Henrietta, this is the area of concern. Erie and Huron counties still under that active tornado warning that goes for another 19 minutes. We're at 8:41 right now, although the worst of the rotation is now moving towards Henrietta. If you have friends or family that live out there, there could be some turning in the atmosphere where you see the greens and the reds butting heads. That is where there's some rotation just to the south of State Route 113, south south of the Ohio Turnpike and north of Kipton by about 4 miles to the north of Kipton. That is where that is that rotation that is occurring. So, of course, I think the biggest impacts are now exiting out towards Lorain, but we are going to stay on the air with you until Erie and Huron counties have been cleared from that tornado warning. In addition to the rotation aspect of this storm, some powerful winds in Erie and Huron counties. There could still be some damaging winds, in fact, with 60 to 70 mile per hour winds as a result of this system. Kaylee, it does appear as if there was some pretty tight rotation, but it does look as well that the rotation is now exiting our viewing area. So our viewing area cuts off at the end of Erie and Huron counties, and it does look like it's moving more towards Oberlin and Lorain. Kaylee.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, John. So we're almost in the clear, but we're not completely in the clear just yet. Like John mentioned, we're going to stay on air until that tornado warning will be allowed to expire. Again, that's going to be expiring around 9 o'clock this evening. So thank you again for tuning in with us here on WTOL 11, also on WTOL 11 Plus. I do want to take you back and just show you the radar loop from the past 2 hours, because watch how quickly this line moves on through. Let me push the play button so you can see it, because this was a very fast moving line. Once it goes through, here's right around 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, what we're seeing right now. It started in our western counties just around 6:30 this evening and moved through very quickly, just like that. Sorry, that was probably a little bit loud on your TV screens, but we are still tracking one single tornado warning as well as multiple thunderstorm warnings for this evening is for quite a few of us. So we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to monitor this for about the next 17 minutes, but this is the radar loop bringing some very heavy rain, some strong storms, some lightning, and also some thunder. But I do want to take a moment once again and just focus on what we're seeing right now as far as those warnings go. So zooming in, this is what we are looking at. We're going to go over towards the northern portion of the state. I know, actually, looks like we do have a brand new radar scan, unless this is why I like to take radar off just to see. So this is what we're seeing as far as this warning goes. Looks like the National Weather Service office has been allowed to trim that warning. So technically, we're just watching that single little polygon right there. I mean, look at that. It's just barely in our viewing area. So we're going to start wrapping this up just a little bit, but we're not going anywhere just yet because we are still tracking some strong storms across the area. And of course, we will be back on WTOL 11 Plus as well too. But this is what we're seeing as far as that radar loop goes. Most of it has pushed off to our eastern counties. If you have loved ones over towards Cleveland, over towards Congress, the Worcester area, Ashland, maybe they live over towards that area, they're going to be seeing those strong storms fairly soon. But John, I would say this tornado warning, at least for our viewing area, pretty much has wrapped up for this evening.
Yeah.
We're not completely done, but we keep saying we're getting close. I think we're pretty close now.
Yeah, Kaylee, well, we actually do have some new information from the NWS, and this is going to come as welcome news for folks who live in Erie and Huron counties. You have officially been cleared from this tornado warning, and now that tornado warning is just for Lorain County, which is the Cleveland viewing area. Now, there is still an active thunderstorm warning for Erie and Huron counties, although that is set to expire as well. Still some strong winds that will be possible, although that is set to expire at 8:45. So how about this? I'm going to stay with you here on air until that thunderstorm warning has expired. But as of now, our entire northwest Ohio and southern Michigan viewing area does not have any active tornado warnings. I'm going to stay on air until that thunderstorm warning has been expired, and it does look like it has just been dropped. So I want to jump over to a map of just warnings. Now, the one thing you'll notice is our viewing area cuts off in Erie and Huron counties. There is still an active threat that is moving towards Oberlin and Lorain and potentially even the Cleveland metro. So please be in touch with family and friends out there. But northwest Ohio does not have any active weather alerts right now. So I'm going to give you the all clear, but we're going to stay on WTOL 11 Plus. That's a great way to continue to stay up to date with the weather coverage. We're going to be on there until 9 o'clock p.m. and then we got to get ready for our late newscast. But as of now, no active weather alerts, and the tornado threat is moving into eastern Ohio. So stay with us on WTOL 11 Plus, as well as streaming on YouTube, and you can find us on social media. Signing off, meteorologist John Birchfield, meteorologist Kaylee Bowers. We'll continue watching on WTOL 11 Plus. Well, thanks for sticking with us on WTOL 11 Plus. Meteorologist John Birchfield here. We have signed off the airwaves as that tornado threat is now moving into eastern Ohio. Erie and Huron counties have been cleared from that tornado warning, so we can finally take a deep breath. It's been a bit of an evening, especially for those of you who have been in that tornado shelter, been to that interior room. I know it's a waiting game, and the National Weather Service will have updates as storm surveys and storm reports come out. I think this warning maybe held on for a few minutes longer than it needed to as that rotation now moves out towards the Lorain area. But if you have friends and family north of Oberlin, south of Amherst, northeast of Henrietta, that is where there is still some ongoing rotation. Good to have you here. Meteorologist Kaylee Bowers is also going to join us in a little bit. We're going to stay on Plus streaming until about 9 o'clock p.m. And then, of course, would love to have you on WTOL 11 News at 11, because even though the storm threat is past, there is still going to be some aftermath to talk about. Still a number of power outages. Based on the latest numbers, about 2,000 outages that are in Seneca County. And we have a lot of wind damage reports, a lot of tree damage, and even a couple funnels out towards Ottawa County. So we'll keep a very close eye on some of those damage reports. Across the Toledo Metro, there were some downed trees near Olander Park in Sylvania with estimated 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. You can see it's fairly widespread. There wasn't really anyone that totally avoided the damage. With 2,000 outages in Seneca County, that is where some of the worst of the winds had occurred. Now, thankfully, the warnings have been totally cleared. If you have friends and family out towards northeastern Ohio, there is still going to be the potential for severe weather, including a possible tornado as that extends along the Ohio Turnpike towards the Lorain area, but no active warnings, at least for us. There is still some heavy and soaking rain that is ongoing across northwest Ohio and lower Michigan. Not a ton of lightning and thunder across the metro, although that rain is really still coming down, and some of those area fields are still going to be inundated, especially after we saw several rounds of rain that already came through earlier in the day. So maybe we can jump into the hour-by-hour forecast. That's something we didn't really get a ton into on air, but we can join you in a little more depth here on WTOL 11 Plus. Right around 9 to 10 p.m. is when those storms are going to be exiting and totally clearing on out. By 10 to 11, they are going to be all the way out into eastern Ohio. In fact, we're really not even going to be seeing any rain by our WTOL 11 News at 11 newscast, and that severe risk is going to be winding down in just moments. I want to refresh the view here on Doppler radar as we continue to look at the bigger picture. The worst portion of the line is now moving into eastern Ohio, and we have no more active weather alerts for our area. So thankfully, it is just rain at this point with all the severe weather threat pushing off into eastern Ohio. Thanks for joining us on air throughout the duration of that severe thunderstorm activity. Of course, earlier in the evening, we did have warnings for eastern Lucas and Ottawa counties, also down towards Wyandotte, Crawford, Seneca County, and then Erie and Huron County. That was our third tornado warning. And thankfully, I think we're done for the night. So Kaylee, I know we're going to kind of look over the latest data, and it's always nice when you can send that severe you already made the graphic. I was thinking of that.
I got you.
But it's always nice when we send that out on the WTOL 11 weather app, because if you're getting the kids ready for the night, maybe their baseball or softball games got canceled, you're thinking about work tomorrow, you can see that notification pop up on your phone. And when you see severe all clear, you can know that you can rest easy.
Yeah, and in fact, I just posted on our social media pages, we are officially in the all clear. If you have storm anxiety and you're scared of storms, or you just want to know what's going on, you can rest easily now for this evening. Maybe your kids or your pups are also a little bit worried about those nighttime storms. Now, we have the all clear. We're not done with the rain just yet. Like John showed you in the hour-by-hour forecast, we are still seeing some of those scattered showers for this evening, but the worst of it has now moved out of our area. Just some typical end of spring, early summer showers and thunderstorms for tonight. Looking at this on radar right now, it's been a very impactful night. We've been on wall-to-wall coverage for the past 2 hours almost. And in fact, I want to show you as far as radar goes with this line that moved on through. I want to zoom out just a little bit, because this is just before 6 o'clock this evening, just moving into, we can see far eastern Indiana from the Fort Wayne area, just about to cross the state line. Now watch this, I'm going to push the play button because this moves by very quick. And remember, this is a radar loop within the past 3 hours. It pushes to our western counties, our central counties, our eastern counties, and now it is impacting over towards central and eastern Ohio. So this is the latest radar loop within the past 3 hours. Also notice all that lightning as well too. We saw quite a bit of lightning across the area. So some lightning, some strong winds. We saw wind gust reports anywhere from about 60 to even 70 miles an hour. Some large hail as well too. And I also want to give a big thank you to everyone who sent in your photos and your videos. We showcased a couple of them here on air throughout the evening. Thank you so much. We're going to continue to comb through our messages because of these very strong showers and thunderstorms. Thank you so much once again, but we're going to continue to monitor this. But yeah, I would say we are officially in the all clear for tonight. We are still going to be seeing some of those scattered showers for tomorrow, but nothing strong or severe. The worst of it is now behind us. Now, I do want to take a moment because we've been talking about these strong storms, not just with our wall-to-wall coverage this evening, not just throughout our newscast, but something I do want to talk about real quick. And it's completely different. It is the heat that is on the way. So because that cold front that moved through bringing those strong storms, temperatures are going to be slightly cooler. Still going to be warm for tomorrow, highs in the low 80s, which is about 4 degrees below average for this time of year. But then here comes that summer heat as we're forecasting highs back in the mid 90s. So tomorrow's going to be cool, but also it's going to feel refreshing because that dew point is going to be dropping. Now, looking ahead towards the weekend and next week, definitely looking and feeling a lot like summer. So I just want to give you a preview on that. But of course, we are still talking about those strong showers and thunderstorms for this evening. And again, we've been live on WTOL 11 and also on WTOL 11 Plus for about the past 2 hours. So thank you so much for tuning in with us, trusting in us to give you the correct forecast, keep you updated, keep you safe, and also keep you informed as well too. We are in the clear. Again, you can rest easy for tonight. Go ahead and just relax for this evening because this is what we're seeing as far as radar goes for tonight. John, I would say we are officially done for tonight. I would say we just let the folks rest unless there's anything else you want to add for them. Yeah, I think we're all good, and it's good that you recap some of the heat impacts that are ahead as well, because that is going to be our big weather story heading towards the weekend and beyond. Those high temperatures in the 90s that will be possible. But yeah, Kaylee, we got to get ready for the late news and send that all clear to the WTOL 11 weather app as well. So I think we can wrap things up, and we'll reconvene on WTOL 11 News at 11. And we're looking forward to sending that all clear notification out as well, because you can get that on your phone or your tablet and know that the severe weather threat is passed. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to get back to radar one last time. As we say goodbye to the storm threat that is now moving off into eastern Ohio. Again, all the severe weather warnings are now out of our area. We still do just have some rain with still that active tornado warning that's now moving towards Lorain and potentially the Cleveland metro. But for the most part, just some run-of-the-mill spring showers. So we're going to send the all clear to the WTOL 11 weather app. We're going to get ready for the late news, and we look forward to seeing you then. You can always stream that on WTOL 11 Plus as well, or on any of our YouTube and social media channels. Take care.